I made a horror game in 1 week, and this video is how I did it. I have always been a big fan of horror games. Games like Outlast, Medicine, Visage are the games that have always managed to give me many heart attacks. Not literally, it's an expression. It was Halloween and I wanted to make something spooky, so I decided to make a horror game. For that purpose, I have decided to use Unreal Engine for the development process. I had experience making games in Unreal Engine before, which I never released, but this one is going to be released and playable, so I have to get dedicated on this one. Welcome to the game plan. Here we will discuss how am I going to achieve the 1 week mark with strategy. Basically, we will plan our moves here in brief. Firstly, as I told you, we are using Unreal Engine for this one, so we will make a new project. Then we will need some 3D models. Now, I am no artist, but there are many talented artists who share their work on the internet. Websites like Unreal Engine Marketplace and Sketchfab are probably going to be the best place to take assets, get assets. After making the game, I will release it on itch.io, which is publicly available for everybody, and the game will be completely free to play for everyone. Now that we have a plan, it's time to get to work. Now, if you know anything about a first-person game, it's that the player is actually a capsule with a camera attached to it, which can navigate from point A to B, and that is also known as a pawn. Since it's a very common program, Unreal Engine has it already pre-built, so I don't really need to program it. But something that I want to program is solely the camera. That's because the camera is very boring and feels rigid and too light. I want it to be heavy and I want to shake it whenever the player moves. So not only will you move, you will also feel the movement. This is also known as head bobbing. I can get it working just by placing something called the camera shake actor. It does what it exactly says. It shakes any cameras within its range. So I applied it and voila. Here, many might say that this does not look very effective or I don't see any change, but trust me, it takes us to the next part. Surrounding or the environment plays a big part in a horror game. I will set the player in a dark indoor environment and the objective is to escape while there is a spirit trying to chase you down. And that's where the head bobbing will actually feel. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. First, we need an environment and for that we'll need some assets. And we're going to get those assets from Epic Games Store. I did some digging and I found this awesome asset. The asset is named Horror Dining Room and it was made by Tim Hartel. The asset is really amazing and it has really good reviews, so why not just use it? So I spent the next 2 days level designing and here's how the level looks like. Now I'm not gonna spoil anything here because I don't want to spoil anything. You can go ahead and check out the game if you want to. It's probably up on itch.io, like right now you can go ahead and play it. So I've set the material mode to unlit so that it won't spoil the graphics or anything. And I'm gonna include this inside of the level designing part. I made 2 jump scares, which is going to scare the player. Now the deadline stress kicks in. I'm really stressed thinking about will I be able to make the end game by the time limit, so I had to cut off a lot of things. The end game had to be cut off by a lot. I was planning to make a few more extensions to the level, but the game turned out to be a little shorter than expected at least. Before we start talking about how I made the end game, I would like to show you head bobbing indoors. Take a look at this. If you notice carefully, you will feel the head bobbing in the screen, but if you play the game, you'll feel it a little more. That's because the camera is now actually heavy indoors. Now let's talk about the end game. How are we going to make the end part and feel like the game is actually complete? I made a chase scenario already when I was making the jump scares. Now I need to add a death screen and an escape screen. I have only 6 hours left and I have to get it done within 6 hours. Then I made the death screen, which looks something like this and will show up whenever you get caught in the chase. If you do, it will tell you to restart again. Now every game has a main menu, so I'll have to make that. So there's a new main menu UI and there's a new main menu level. So overall it looks something like this. The game was complete, so I exported it and now I was ready to upload the game on itch.io. Then I made an official itch.io page and then customized it a little bit, and then I pressed the publish button. The game is out now and freely available for everybody. Go ahead and download the game, or else. If you don't want to download the game, it's okay. You can watch the gameplay right here, which I will reveal in the next week probably. If you want an introduction to me, you can watch this video right here. Lastly, drop a subscribe to help this channel grow, and I will see you all soon. Thank you and goodbye.